Previously on Dis Irae.
なあ、レン。かすみを連れてくるのは別にいい。お前にとっちゃ兄弟みたいなもんだしよ。他の連中がどうなろうが、あいつだけはって。そういう気持ち、共感はできんが理解はできる。けどお前、氷室先輩はどうすんだよ。
ビルヘルム・エーレンブルグ。1917年7月10日にドイツ・ハノーバーで生まれる。なんでもこいつ兵隊世界じゃ伝説になってるみたいよ。いわく白い顔の SS を見たらとにかく逃げる。何があっても戦ってはいけない。
一人ずつピックアップしなくていいから分かってる範囲のメンバー構成を教えてくれよ。顔写真があるならそれだけでもいい。
そう？じゃあざっといくけど、ビルヘルム・エーレンブルグ、ルサルカ・シュベーゲリン、バレリア・トリファ、ロート・シュピーネ、それからベアトリス・キルヒアイゼンはもう死んでるみたいで、その抜け番が桜井圭。こいつらが高額の賞金首だってことはオッケー？
それどこのアングラサイトだよ。
国連。そこの人らにとっちゃ意地で抹殺しておきたい亡霊なんだよ、こいつらは。
Episode 30. Die Maske der Blassen told. Welcome back to Dis Irae. Lisa Brenner, or should I say Babylon, has showed herself. She gracefully walked through the dazzling lights and flood of violent sound, paying no heed to the crowd of 100+ there. She was neither avoiding contact with the people around her, nor was she being avoided by them. Yet no one in that jam-packed hall even touched even her shoulder. The girl, Kei Sakurai, narrowed her eyes. She thought about the tragedy that was about to unfold here, but perhaps realizing it was pointless, concentrated on the stage with a cold glint in her eyes. On the other intruder who had invaded the premises of the sound or trace, much like herself. On the dark, holy woman who languidly pulled her long hair up under the lights. Lisa Brenner, tonight's lead actress.
さあ、あなたはどうするの、藤井君。
The bottomless pit's hall was already filled with a great variety of spectators, from somewhat elderly men to girls who still had traces of innocence left in them. They all looked up at the stage in a bit of a daze. Man, look at that. Crazy. Standing there was a lone woman I knew. She wasn't wearing her trademark glasses, but I had no doubt in my mind that it was her. Sister Lisa Brenner.
面白いな。まるでお通夜じゃねえかよ。
美人の凄みってやつかね。
Sorry for the Skype messages. None of the 100+ spectators dared say a word. An abnormal silence reigned in league with the loud club music. Shiru, Hanju, and I stared blankly as the other guys got in our way, preventing us from reaching the stage. Marie had returned to my body in preparation for battle, but I hadn't seen this coming. Since I couldn't predict what was to come next, I didn't know what to do. What do? Do we fight her? We're going to fight her eventually, right? We're going to kill her. Sad to say, but she's an enemy. I don't care if we knew her once. She's our enemy. She always has been. She just faked it. Kill her without, hesitation. Perhaps she'd been waiting for us? Well, if so, did that mean a fight would break out as soon as we arrived? I hadn't gone to the deep end enough to suddenly start a battle to the death with someone I knew, but in that case, how was I to put an end to this situation?
こんばんは、藤井君。
But in that moment of anguish, she looked right at me with piercing eyes, and we locked gazes. She spoke in the exact same mild tone she did last time we met. Nausea came over me as the realization that this was not a dream finally began to sink in. She was the same Lisa Brenner I knew before all this madness began. We were separated by a roughly 20-meter-long distance, yet she spoke calmly across the sea of petrified spectators.
悪いことは言わないから、すぐにこの場を離れなさいね。正直私はあなたと争いたくないの。だ
ったら
I instinctively started shouting.
あんたがここから去ってくれ。俺だってあんたと戦いたくなんかない。きっとムロス先輩だって。
ええ、あの子はそうでしょうね。
Man, do we have any allies at all? Or are they just all secretly Nazis? Her words carried a hint of self-depreciation. Though her eyes were filled with sorrow, she followed up with some rather callous words.
でも私がここから引いてしまえば、代わりにベイかマレウスがやってくるだけ。
Well, I don't want those
事
guys
態は
here.
何も変わらない。
But as far as I'm concerned, they're all cut from the same cloth.
シスター、俺は。
Are you even a nun? I didn't want to hear those bastards' names from her mouth.
どうして俺にはあんたや先輩があの気が狂った連中と同じようには思えない。どうしてあいつらと行動を共にする。
あなたと知り合うずっと前から私は彼らの仲間だからよ。私とあなたが出会っていても出会わなくても今日という日は起きていた。何かが変わったわけじゃない。私は最初からこんな女だからね。これが最後の忠告。
She has 4 little pips on her uniform. That means she's a Stormbreaker. Sister Lisa's eyes narrowed. She stared at me with arrogance and haughtiness, her gaze replete with the pressure of an empress.
去りなさい、藤井君。あなたが死んだらレアが悲しむ。
Damn it! I can't make sense of this. Flashes of that day flew by for a moment. Memories of the irreparably shattered day-to-day life. Our day-to-day life is screwed. We're not going back to that. We just have to accept it at this point. She understood nothing. Couldn't she tell that the mere act of hearing something like that from her lips would make Himuro sadder even than the issue of my life or death? We could argue over stupid shit like dying, killing, fighting, or whatnot, but it wouldn't get us anywhere. I decided to stop thinking.
Sister, ここから消えるのはあんただよ。口で言っても通じないなら力ずくで叩き出してやる。
そう。じゃあ私もその考えにならんわね。
She's probably the most mysterious person of all. We don't know anything about her power. Sister Lisa nodded to me, conspicuously avoiding my gaze.
聞けないのはこちらも同じ。私にも理由があるし、叶えなければならない願いがある。その邪魔をするなら排除するわ。清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第11位、バビロン・マグダレナ・リザ・ブレンナン。今の私たちが有する最高戦力と戦って勝てると思わない方がいい。
At that exact moment, a hole opened out diagonally above Sister Lisa. No, that wasn't quite right. It was a mask, or something like that. A jet black object that didn't give off even the smallest ember of light was floating in the air. It sent shivers down my spine. What the hell is that? Whoops, I hit the delete button. What is that?
Oi, oi.
こりゃちょっと。
What? You guys know what that is? Shiro and Hanju had been quietly watching my conversation with Sister Lisa up to that point, broke out into uncharacteristically stiff smiles. They'd probably felt it too. Some ominous evil radiates within that mask. The aberrant wicked intentions oozing out from deep within that hellish black mask.
イエツラ、 私はあなたを信じる。
What? You guys know what that is? Shiro and Hanju had been quietly watching my conversation with Sister Lisa up to that point, broke out into uncharacteristically stiff smiles. They'd probably felt it too. Some ominous evil radiates within that hellish black mask. Oh shit. That was her on an herbe. The Mask of Pale Death. A second later, the darkness exploded. A human figure grew out of the mask. Admittedly an odd expression, but that was the only way I could describe the phenomenon unfolding before my eyes. Arms, a leg, a waist, and a torso materialized in but a few seconds. Like they protruded out of the mask. Sister Lisa was no longer alone. What the fuck is that? Standing next to her was a peculiar giant, easily over 2 meters tall, its body covered in bundles of thick muscles like the statue of a fierce god. A tattoo with a complex design was carved into the left side of its body, serving only to accentuate its bizarre appearance even further. What the hell? Was that thing human? It didn't look that way at all. Despite its huge frame, the giant didn't feel real in the slightest. It stood right before me. But its whole appearance seemed so unrealistic, it rather felt like a bad joke. Nonetheless, the bloodlust it emanated was so fierce it hit me like a ton of bricks, sending an ominously negative wave across the hall. The spectators, whose time had stopped by the appearance of Sister Lisa, woke up all at once. They looked at the monster with eyes of dread. That fear amplified, spread, saturated, and started welling up within them. Those driven by fear tried to get out of the way, fogging up the narrow exit. Some of them violently pushed others out of the way, desperate to save themselves first. Just then, she fired a gun at the ceiling and let out an angry roar exceeding all other sounds. That was enough to quell the 100 or so panicking spectators into silence. That wasn't all. They stopped running, parted to the side, and opened a path to the stage. Paying no heed to my dumbfounderment at his Moses-esque feats, Shiro calmly walked down the hallway. Hanju trailed behind him, wearing the casual expression of someone taking an everyday stroll down the street. Sister Lisa's voice carried a hint of admiration. Hanju listlessly snickered while gesturing up to the mysterious giant, who had yet to budge even an inch. Sister Lisa laughed at Hanju's comment. She wasn't denying it. She didn't say anything. Almost like she was admitting that her comment was the truth. This huge-ass guy is a corpse? Is that why it didn't feel quite real despite being so huge? And true, the force that Bass was giving off felt rather twisted. Not the force of something living, but rather that of a large machine. Like the oppression of an approaching tank. A heartless, lifeless machine of slaughter.
清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第2位トバルカインおっしゃる通りよお嬢さん彼は死体生きていないこうなったものを私が使う最初からそういう配役まずはお見事その統率力と洞察力彼を前にして正気でいられる度胸非凡だと言っていい
There's no way that this thing does not kill us. There's no scenario in which we survive anything this thing does. Sorry, my phone went off. Sister Lisa's eyes narrowed again. She wasn't looking at me, nor at Shiro or Hanju. My heart leapt as I felt a certain kind of unease and fretfulness explode within me. This is bad. Very bad, perhaps she's...
指揮官としては最悪よ。今夜の私の目的はここのスワスチカを開くこと。あなたたちと遊んでいる暇はないの。判断ミスね、二人とも。それだけ統制が取れるならあの時逃がすべきだった。ねえ、カイン。
It's glowing. The twinkle of a flash. The brusque clump of iron wielded by the giant she referred to as Cain rumbled with a sinister echo. It was probably his Ananurbe. It let out an electrifying roar. Sister Lisa was up on the stage, waving her hands and giving orders like a conductor. A musical suite of agonizing screams began with her command. The giant was the musician, and people were his instrument. It was an orchestra of carnage.
Christian.
A flash of purple lightning surged in the hall with a thunderous roar. My eyes were blinded by the splitting lightning, and my eardrums burst by the roars in the airtight space. I tried to dash forward in the whited-out silence, but I was blown away by a shockwave. Blood and chunks of meat splattered me a second later after I crashed into the wall. The bodies of the hapless club attendees were torn apart and split into pieces by the lightning. The stench of literal boiling blood and burnt dry flesh filled my nostrils. I could tell even without my sight and hearing that the hall had just turned into a mountain of corpses in the instant it took the monster to unleash that single attack. Say something if you're alive, you dumbass. You couldn't die that easily, right? I gritted my teeth and slapped my knees. My legs were completely numb. I must have been hit by the lightning as well. I had to stand and fight, damn it. I was the only one here able to take on that monster. I could tell blood was pouring out of all the cavities on my face as a result of the shock I had received, but I put that out of my mind. I knew this disaster was undoubtedly brought about by my own naivety. Sister Lisa. So you really are the same as those bastards who kill without fear or hesitation. Then... we have no choice. We must defeat anyone who stands in our way. I didn't want to fight her, nor did I want her to die, and I didn't want her to kill anyone either. The least I could do for having to fail to accomplish any of that was get rid of that undead freak as soon as possible. I remember what Spine had said. Those bastards' goal was to cause massacres at 8 points around the city, to create 8 battlefields. Then fighting here would be playing right into their plans. However, as long as those guys were sticking to those places, I couldn't lure them anywhere else. And most importantly, if I let that monster get out of this place in one piece, it would only increase the innocent casualties later. So what I had to do now was take out Cain right away, nothing else. My hearing returned. Right around the time when I stood up, I could hear gunfire. Sure, and Hanji were shrewder and more sensible than me, so they must have gotten to a safe zone quickly enough. Just as that thought filled my vision, just as that thought filled me with relief, my vision returned. Oh man, look at that thing. Man, the thing is evil looking. Tubal Cain returned back to me. Either he noticed my stare or Sister Lisa sicked him on me. His turn was more like that of a power shovel than a human's. Seriously, was I the only sane person left in here? The corpse was rotting, as corpses normally did. His existence was a horrible perversion of nature. I could barely even look straight at him. I took a step forward, which Cain saw as his cue to leap off the stage. His body was so massive, each step was accompanied by a tremor in the earth. His power was undoubtedly extraordinary, yet at the place itself didn't allow for any strategies involving quick movement and surprise attacks. Though that last attack wiped out about half of them, there were still people clamoring in the hall. I would have to take that thing head on if I were to ensure their safe escape. So come on, Marine. Let's do it together. Let's beat that monster back into the grave it crawled out of. Blood and pieces of flesh shot off with the roll of the first attack. Lisa Brenner closed her eyes and perceived just how many lives had been lost. 78 died and 51 were fatally wounded. In other words, 129 souls were reaped by that prior attack. 129 people with a single attack. My God. Was it there? No, that still wasn't enough. The souls got out of the bottomless pit were of surprisingly fine quality. They weren't spiritually tempered. They had merely lived dirty lives. They were outlaws who took refuge here from the police, their parents, teachers, or the mafia in order to live. And realizing they couldn't live on the surface, those brave fugitives had declined to discard their true selves like so many others had done, and instead sought a place where they belonged, a place where they would find kindred spirits. In a way, the difference between them and the cowards was paper thin, and very few were capable of even that nowadays. When you consider them as Shiro, Yusa, and Irohanji's lapdogs, perhaps they had a little self-will, but even then, they still had a value when seen as parts of a whole. At the very least, they undoubtedly had a better understanding of life and death than those who lazily shuffled through their everyday lives. So while it normally took about 500 lives to open a swastika, it would only take 200 or 300 of their lives to open this one. Indeed, another swing or two from Kane, the woman's job would be done for the time being.
すごいものですね。大した威力だ。
Lisa's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of her comrade who had walked up next to her at some point during all of this.
まるで爆撃。私が知る限り、一撃でここまでできる者は他にいない。黒煙卓の現有戦力中、最強はやはり彼か。
He looked unimpressively at the giant next to her. She spoke softly with a somewhat too perfect impudence.
しかし、随分と変わってしまった。バビロン、これは本当に。
ええ、彼が。
Lisa answered curtly, her forehead moist from intense concentration.
あなたも知っているように、トバルカインの大代わりする。彼は3代目だから、こうなった時、初代と2代目の肉体と融合したのよ。つまりイジクも、さっき髪の短いお嬢さんが言っていた通りね。
フランケンシュタインの怪物か。死体をつなぎ合わせた体。道理で代を重ねるごとに巨大になる。そしてその分強くなる。しかしそれだけに少々下せない。あなたは先ほどクレッシェンドと命令したが、私なら初撃でフォルテッシモというところだ。最大効率で戦果を上げるとは。
Don't backseat battle, okay? No one likes that. Let her do her job. Lisa replied with a tired, wry smile at the implied question of why she held back.
言ったでしょ。私は11年カインを使っていない。つまりこの彼を操るのは初めてなの。まだ手探りの状態なのに初撃で全力なんて下手をしたらこちらが焼き切れてしまいかねない。だからいわば短期運転ね。正直それでもかなりきついの。実のところあなたとこうして話しているのも苦になるくらい。
日頃鍛えていないからそうなるのです。
She shook her head at the absurdity of it all, but continued in a serious tone.
どうやら付き合って正解だったようですね。以前藤井君にした例え話。あなたは武器が強力でも使い手が脆弱だという典型だ。護衛がいなければ戦えない。
そう。じゃあしっかり守って。それから彼は
生きていますよ。そしておそらく戦う気かと。
Jay was staring at Ren Fuji, who had since gotten to his feet and was glaring right at them.
バカね。今のうちに逃げればいいのに。
彼がそういう男じゃないことは私よりあなたの方がよく知っていることでしょう。
Think we can kill all three of them in this fight? I think we can take them all.
ええ。そうね。
Tubal Cain returned to Ren and synced with Lisa. No expression could be read off the death mask adorning him. It spoke everything as his function as a soulless machine.
まだスワスチカは開いていない。あなたが仕事をこなそうとするのなら、彼は全力で止めようとするでしょう。もはやどうあがいても戦うしかないですね。心が痛みますか、シスター。まったく。
She's doing that thing. She doesn't do that thing in that uniform. Lisa produced a bitter smile.
私が嫌いなのはわかるけど、意地悪なのもほどほどにね。でないとあなた、可愛くないわよ。
別に問題ないでしょう。
He replied to that candid advice with a steely voice.
私をこんな女にしたのはあなたたちなんだから。
And then there were two who were watching the pair's conversation with disinterested foolhardiness.
ダメだ。耳がバカになってる。これしばらく使えそうにねえけど、お前は？
Serena's way too lax about all this shit.
私も正直だいぶダメ。あんたの声があさっての方から聞こえて
Talks
く
a
る
big
よ。
game, but he didn't do anything to freaking Bay. It was sheer luck that spared them from that previous attack. Though they'd promptly taken evasive actions, humans didn't possess the reaction speed to avoid getting struck by lightning to begin with. Unlike Ren, it wouldn't have been odd if they died then and there.
命中率が悪いのか、それともおめこぼししてもらったのか。何にせよ全力で舐められてんな。
指揮官としては最悪とかね。まあ否定はしないけど、あんた最初からそんな柄じゃないのにね。
What did it mean to open a swastika? What had to be done? What happened? Sorry, what had to be done? What happened? And what was the result? She had probably stopped his comments from running away in order to figure that out. At least that's what Ellie used to believe.
あんたのその全開で人でなしなとこ、ぶっちゃけナチといい勝負。
That's pretty cold. Although sure, I'll probably take that as a compliment.
褒めんなよ。照れるだろ。
I knew it. That's sure for you.
まあそれはいいけど、耳がバカになってもやれることはあるんだ
Sacrificing
け
his
ど
own men
ね。
for the sake of science. From this distance, they wouldn't have been able to hear what their opponents were talking about even with proper hearing. As such, their temporary deafness didn't mean all that much. Ellie ignored Shiro at that point and stared intently at the two on stage.
おい。
少し黙ってね。
Ellie admonished her companion and started moving her lips. After a while, she looked at Shiro.
あいつらが何喋ってんのか分かってる。
Ellie could read lips. She had received no training in it. It was mostly a self-taught skill she had. As for the parts she couldn't pick up, she filled in the blanks through observation, concentration, and thought. She told Shiro what their enemies had been talking about.
だと思う。
頼りね
信じないならご勝手に。
えな。シスターを倒せば、あのカインとかいう化け物も倒せるってことか。
That makes sense. She's controlling it.
そういうことだね。まあそのためにはまずシスターを守ってるあのお嬢ちゃんが邪魔なんだけど。
そうだな。こんなのどうだ。
Shiro explained the plan he had concocted. Ellie nodded, ducked, and moved away from Shiro as quietly as possible. The rabble trying to escape proved to be a good smokescreen. The pair had known them for about 2 months, but they never accounted for much to Shiro in person.
もうちょっと使えるやつらだと思ったんだが、ま、普通ってのはこんなもんか。
Shiro shook his head with a laugh and seemed to forget about them altogether. It was his creed to actively participate in battles and get as much fun out of them as possible. He had no interest in those who couldn't keep up. Once he predicted Irae was out of sight, Shiro fired the Desert Eagle in his hand. It should have been a surprise attack, however.
早速ありがとう。
The bullets were deflected by the red sword that had suddenly appeared at Kay's side out of thin air, much like the grotesque giant had.
ち、あの姉ちゃんも化け物かよ。
Shiro clicked his tongue and fired 2 more shots without missing a beat.
小うるさいスズメで
Kay swiftly grabbed the sword and swung it with the ease of lifting a twig. With a mere flip of the wrist, she had repelled all the bullets with the blade of her sword.
おいおい、50口径だぜ。
50口径 125mm 滑空砲を持ってきたのだな。両手を使ってあげるわ。
戦車持ってこいってか。
Shiro didn't take Kay's words as a joke. She repelled the bullets. To do that, she would need extraordinary dynamic vision, as well as the physical strength and grip to handle the impact of a 50 caliber magnum bullet with one hand. Naturally, the strength of her unyielding wrist was far beyond the limits of human training. Kay stared right at him as she lifted her flame-wreathed sword. It wouldn't have been unusual to despair at the glimpse of strength she displayed in that moment alone, however.
なるほどね。
Shiro sounded a laugh, not out of despair, nor as a bluff.
茶化程度食らっても平気な奴らがわざわざ弾くか。どうやらドンピシャみたいだぜ。エリー。
The nun doesn't have superhuman strength. She's just a person. We can shoot her, she can die. Lisa was controlling Kane. That required ungodly amounts of concentration, in which case something as light as getting hit by a pebble, that his bullets had amounted to as far as these bastards were concerned, might have been enough to make her drop the reins. Oh, that makes more sense, I guess, than what I said. So don't pay attention to what I say. I'm usually wrong about these things. Resigning himself to a support role wasn't exactly up Shiro's alley, but
そういうことだ。ほら大将、さっさと行ってあの化け物ぶちのめせよ。
you got it. This sucks. I'm getting my ass beat. Though it was vague, the sound of Shiro's constant gunfire was enough to make me understand what he was trying to do. He had no way of beating Kane, but he planned to hinder his movement to make up for it. It was the opposite idea of shooting the enemy commander. The horse was the real threat here, so the commander was using all of her might to hold onto his reins. If she let go, the thing would turn into nothing more than a corpse. A puppet.
それまで持たせないとな。
Oh my god. I'd wait for an opening and attack with all I had. Sister Lisa had to focus on my action just as much as she had to focus on controlling that monster. And the more she did, the more the fruits of Shiro's plan would start to show. People Kane looked at me from behind that soulless mask. I stared back at the giant and... I sprinted with enough force to kick off the floor and shot forward like a cannonball. I could do this. I doubted I'd lose to the giant in terms of speed. If I could close the distance between us all at once, I might get lucky and decapitate him in one slash. I finished forming my weapon in a second and swung my guillotine of a right arm down on the giant. A moment later, I felt the sensation of a decapitation passing through my arm. I was partly sure I'd won, but... I was once again blown away by the lightning generated around Kane, and that was not all. Kane dashed after me practically at the speed of lightning. To think he was faster than me with that huge hulking body and long weapon. I was shocked, but it only lasted a moment. I resolved myself that I wouldn't retreat. If I took a step back, I'd just be cut down, and if I dodged, Kane would blow away all those people standing behind me. My only choice was to meet him head on. What the hell's even going on in that picture? Kane swung his giant lump of iron down, which I blocked with the guillotine in my right arm. I felt like I heard Marie scream at the same time. It was already a miracle that my weapon didn't crack against such mass speed and power. Though I avoided getting chopped in half, I felt the whole impact of that attack. The floor cracked around me, boring a crater into the ground. It felt intense enough to make me think that my spine had snapped and shot right out of my body. The lightning the bastard's weapon gave off with each slash was powerful beyond belief. It was a lot like that sword of fire Sakurai wielded. My opponent's range of attack was not limited to the length of his great sword. It was too dangerous to lock blades with this dead freak. At the very least, I didn't feel confident I could last on the defensive. So, I had to take the offensive. I'd just keep hacking away at him, not giving the freak a chance to swing a sword. I avoided the monster's strength pushing against my blade and twisted myself to dodge. A roar loud enough to crack the very floor open echoed across the hall as I used the lingering shockwaves to jump over Kane. I could do it. This time I would take the monster's head. He couldn't see me. I was confident I could win, however... The next lightning strike managed to hit me midair. The high voltage caused my limbs to twitch, boiled my blood, and made me feel like my insides were being torn apart. I flew head over heels and crashed to the floor as blood literally gushed out of me. I couldn't breathe. Blood was pouring out of my eyes, and my clothes were torn off and charred. Had I been a normal human, I would have been cut to pieces without even a single bone left of me. But rather than those wounds, I was more pissed off at my own stupidity. Though I'd known the freak's traits, I'd stupidly forgotten all about them in the presence of his overwhelming pressure. Kane was a corpse. A fame meant nothing to a machine like him. Trying to get in his blind spot was pointless when his controller could see me. That's right. Kane had 360-degree vision as long as she could see me. And since the thing was a corpse, he could possibly perform feats impossible for the human body, superpowered or not. Kane then swung his weapon, and that alone a full 180 degrees without turning around, as if to endorse that theory. I dodged on instinct, but it mowed down the area above my head, shattering the seats and people behind me into smithereens, blowing them away. Blood and chunks of meat scattered behind me. My vision was blurred not by the intense pain wrecking my whole body, but by fury. That thing had probably killed another 100 or so people with that attack. Just how many would he kill before he was satisfied? I don't care if this was a den of criminals. They most certainly didn't deserve to be massacred by a monster like Kane. No. Tubal Kane turned to face me right as I gritted my teeth and stood up. This dead freak didn't even need a fraction of his power to pull off something like turning his joints around to slash right behind himself. But even so, I'll be damned if I lost. At the very least, the freak had yet to land a single blow on me. I thought we got hit by lightning earlier. Does that not count? I wouldn't be satisfied until I made sure this masked dead freak stayed dead for good. He was fast and powerful enough for that not even Sister Lisa, the one controlling him, could predict his movements. The most efficient attack for me at the moment was, what if we coax him into attacking and like have Sister Lisa be in like the crosshairs, right? I took a deep breath and fell into a crouch. Pulling back my right hand, I assumed a fighting stance. The idea came easily to me, no doubt thanks to having a kendo maniac for a childhood friend. If I was going for the fastest slash possible, I had but one choice. IS slash? That was the only way. I'd be trying to imitate something I'd merely seen on the spot, not to mention the shape of my weapon was irregular. Still, the basic principle must have remained the same. There was a little variety in stances when the idea was to turn your whole body into something akin to a cannon and launch your blade like a cannonball. A turnabout death blow, a double-edged sword that would end fatally for me if I missed, but it was the only way. Kane silently raised his lump of iron, perhaps Sister Lisa had caught on to my plan. It wouldn't be a slash versus slash, no, he would probably try to zap me again. His lightning blade, far faster than a speeding bullet, was about to fall upon me. So I focused my mind, steeled my heart, and slowed down to seconds. A moment became a second became a minute. I should have been used to that, Having been thoroughly forced into a corner, I would surpass the speed of lightning itself. A ridiculous feat when one thought about it. Unless I accomplished just that, I would be getting nowhere. The screams and gunfire around me completely vanished. Within that silence, Kane and I faced off against each other. As I held on to my desperate concentration, I waited for the next moment in that divided light and darkness. Faster, 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 faster. I had to soar faster than anyone in order to claim the freak's head. Kane's tremendous body tilted forward slightly. I drew my guillotine of right arm at the same time. At that moment, a similarly unusual and unpredictable phenomenon occurred. A dark veil suddenly struck the floor. The lights went out all at once, shrouding the room in darkness. That was definitely no accident. The enemy had a brain on them too. It was a two-stage tactic. They would use the resulting darkness not only to blind Lisa, Kane's controller, but to launch their attack as well. Having figured that out, Kay swung her sword and arc right after the lights went out.
明かりが消えたのならつければいい。
The air she cut through was dyed a reddish gold, making the center of the floor erupt into scarlet flames. But the light hadn't returned. Kay scanned the floor and made sure to confirm how the battle had progressed. Perfect. Barely any time had passed. In fact, it was Ren, not Kane, whose movements had been thrown off by the most sudden loss of light. He would soon perish. Though they hadn't gotten along, Kay still felt a slight tinge of pity for the end of a boy she'd gotten to know a little. But her thoughts turned to what would come after his death. She would witness the opening of a swastika for a third time and see the end of her rival. As such, they would have no choice between that large-scale massacre in order to open the remaining 5. She felt annoyed by the unpleasant work that would mean for her in the future. It was only logical to kill your enemies when you had the chance. Kay and Lisa were much more realists than rationalists compared to the fun-loving Wilhelm and Salka. And so...
Sayonara, Fujii-kun.
Right as the two of them coincidentally uttered those parting words at the same time.
だからなめるなっつってんだろ。
That sneer in voice brought Kay back to reality. She quickly looked back to where Shiro had been just a short while ago, but what happened?
いない。
He's gone. She'd lost sight of Shiro Yusa. Did he flee? No, that wasn't it. Perhaps she'd been wrong to dismiss it as worthless, but the dropping of the light had just been a decoy, and the true goal was what came after.
ためのやつに言いたかねえけど、若いな、お前。
That's cool.
優等生は意外にちょっと相撲心型なのよ。
She caught sight of the two of them mocking her as they pressed their nuzzles side by side in her direction. She couldn't understand what they were thinking. What good would shooting do? 2 bullets were no more effective against them than 1, and she could easily deflect them at this distance. Even if they did happen to hit her, it wouldn't cause significant damage. It was completely pointless. But then how are we going to explain those confident smirks?
ヴィルヘルムのコスプレでもしろ。
2 bullets shot forward with the overlapping gunfire. Kay could see their trajectories perfectly, but they weren't aimed at either her or Lisa. In that case, could they have been? By the time realization dawned on Kay, it was already too late. The sound of an explosion far more meager compared to Kane's attack echoed across the hall. The bullets passed right by Kay, destroying a fire extinguisher on the stage. She used the blade of her sword to deflect the fire extinguisher jumping about with the force of a barrel roll. However, her enemies were not after that, but rather the dispersal of the foam inside. In other words, her line of sight became a milky white haze. She couldn't see at all, though it wasn't impossible for her to wipe out the smoke screen with explosive fire in a swing of her sword. That would have required concentration and time. Kay could tell Lisa was growing impatient behind her. That was more than enough to tell Kay what Kane was now nothing more than a puppet the older woman had lost control of. Kay's whole body was then stampeded with chills and shivers. He would die. He was going to die again. No, she couldn't bear losing him again. Her fear and impatience shot past their limits, making Kay lunge forward instantly. Kay turned into a raging hurricane as she made off towards the two, breaking through the smokescreen. She wouldn't let him die. She'd be damned if she did. She would never, ever allow him to be broken even further. Murderous intent in front of Lisa, as well as the obstruction of a comrade's hunt through distraction. Kay didn't hesitate at all to take those actions. Actions that would break her oath. To be accurate, she'd completely forgotten about it. She simply dashed forward as fast as she possibly could in order to save him, to keep him from dying. After that brief moment, not even lasting a second, filled with thoughts and running, Kay beheld the worst possible outcome. The illumination birthed by the clash of blade and thunderbolt made me stumble forward. Not only had I been so focused that I had forgotten Shiro was planning something, I wasn't farsighted enough to be able to adapt to suddenly losing my vision either. Achieving a composed and ever-serene mind was no easy feat. Until a short while ago, I'd been no more than an everyday student. There was no way I would have been able to keep my cool after being so abruptly robbed of my sight. A series of floor-shaking tremors and a burst of explosive fire put an end to my confusion. That was likely Sakura's doing. Whatever she had done gave me a momentary flash of vision. I couldn't move an inch. That momentary hesitation brought a swift end to my perfectly timed plan. His lightning would fall upon me and pierce me through, just as I yielded to Kane's overwhelming pressure, envisioning that hopelessly inevitable outcome. Gunfire rang out again, soon followed by the sound of a small-scale explosion. For some reason, Kane's presence vanished as a result. Or rather, it felt more like the giant was bewildered and impatient, as if he had lost sight of my position. Maybe Sister Lisa couldn't see me right now? My suspicion turned to conviction a moment later. The lightning strike that should have hit and blown me away ended up passing right by me. I had no idea what just happened. None of that really mattered, though. What did matter was that my opponent had just missed an attack that would have otherwise been fatal. Regardless of what brought it about, this was my chance. I would have been an idiot for not taking advantage of it. I sprung my arm forward and sped up my body's muscles in sync. I raised my blade with all of my might as fast as I could, and moved to slice the giant before me in two. My target was the head. That was the only way. I didn't know if you could kill a corpse twice, but I basically believed that this decapitating blade Murray dwelt in could kill any target, regardless of what the rules of logic dictated. It was likely that belief that was acting as the driving force behind manifesting my enemy's power to its peak. As long as I believed that, this guillotine could cut down whatever stood in its path, be it human or monster. Kane turned around. I couldn't tell if it was a random attack or if this dead freak possessed the base ability to intercept by himself, but either way, I was faster. I jumped up as to land on the swinging lump of iron, then launched an attack on the giant's completely defenseless and exposed neck. But something completely unbelievable happened a moment later. Kane headbutted the blade swinging down towards his neck. I didn't know how strong the bastard's mask, that is Sister Lisa's Ananurbe, was, but my blade swing went way off mark from that superhuman's counterattack. As a result, I missed and ended up cutting from Kane's left shoulder blade to his right lung. That would be a fatal wound for sure to a normal opponent, but it didn't look like it had much of an effect on the freak. Damn it! In other words, it was a misfire. My all-or-nothing attack had been completely wasted. Yet it wasn't bitterness or regret I felt, but something else entirely. That last counterattack was on a different level altogether. He deliberately attacked to offset the slash hitting the right form, and he actually used his mask to deflect it. A mere puppet couldn't have pulled that off. What in the world was this thing? Tubal-Cain casually turned around with no heed to the diagonal wound in his body. Not even a drop of blood poured from the wound, and he clearly didn't feel any pain. So he had the body of a corpse no matter how he spun it. Despite that, he moved precisely, even when he was cut off from Sister Lisa's proper commands. What? He's talking. He's trying to. The corpse that remained silent up until now began to speak. It was a dark, gear-like creaking that lacked any meaning, more reminiscent of the rumble of a moaner than a genuine human voice. However, that eerie enumeration of sounds, hardly even worthy to be called a voice, made my entire body freeze up. I wanted him to stop. I didn't want to hear another syllable uttered by that voice. The dead giant's voice alone was enough to instill a sort of madness in the living. His howl, loud as roaring thunder, completely blew my fighting spirit into smithereens. Lisa quietly clicked her tongue when she heard Kane's war cry. It appeared that was his true nature, one that she'd wanted to keep hidden. It was coming dangerously close to being revealed. That was dangerous, and not just because it would make him harder to control. Lisa could not afford letting anyone learn that Kane possessed a side like that to him. And if worst came to worst, if the Divine Vessel or Samuel ever found out, they'd likely demolish everything. Same went for that girl, though in a different way. She cut through the smokescreen of foam and chased after the girl a second behind. She couldn't have been allowed to see that. If she did, then she surely... But it was too late. Kay was already watching. She stood frozen and dumbfounded, muttering to herself like her mind was somewhere else. Anger welled up within Kay a moment later. It seemed she was more fixated on Kane's wound than his maddened roars. Though Lisa hesitated to call it a silver lining, she had nothing to worry about if that was the thing that kept Kay bothered. Kay wouldn't break that easily. She was about to say that, but for some reason she couldn't. He was a dead puppet. Even if his arms were chopped off, his legs vanished, or if his chest was filled with holes, that monster was a lump of flesh that could keep moving as long as she, the controller, remained in good health. As such, there was nothing to worry about. That wound could barely even be called a cut. Lisa attempted to say all that, even parted her lips a few times. But ultimately, she couldn't. Inevitably, she could do nothing to stop that impending instrument of destruction. Kane swung down his lump of iron with all of his might, unleashing a burst of deadly lightning rivaling that of Indra himself, eclipsing all of his prior attacks in terms of ferocity. The strike was powerful enough to blow away everyone still alive in this place, not only Ren, Shiro, and Ellie, but even Kay and Lisa as well. The flash of lightning burned into my eyes, blinding me. The scope of Kane's raging lightning strike dwarfed all others that came before. Even I would have been torn to shreds had I taken a direct hit from it. I knew that. All too well. Yet in spite of that, I couldn't even move an inch. Rather than being frozen by the sheer magnitude of that unparalleled destructive power, it was more like I was crushed by, it was more like I was cursed by this freak's existence itself. I'd be seeing pearly gates in my near future if this kept up. For some reason, Sakurai cut in between us. That was what saved me. The floor shook with a tremendous sound, splitting apart along with the walls, while I found myself blown back a dozen or so meters. As the echoes of destruction continued to roar, I saw something fall to my feet. It was Sakurai. Needless to say, she was all battered and wounded from Kane's attack. Even she would have been blown to bits had she taken a direct hit. Nonetheless, she seemed to have evaded that outcome by a hair's breadth, stopping the blow a split second before it would have dealt a fatal wound. She still suffered severe injuries, but her life was seemingly spared. More importantly, though... Why? I highly doubted she was attempting to save me, in which case could she have been trying to rein in the Berserker Kane? The last attack unleashed all of his power, from what I could tell. Releasing that volume of destructive force was taking quite a toll on him. There was also the wound I inflicted on him to consider. In that state, it would have been hardly surprising to see his body crumble apart from the power of his own lightning. But when I thought of it that way, Sakurai's actions became more comprehensible. But why would someone like her, who had always been so cool-headed when dealing with Wilhelm or Sokka, risk her life to that extent? And for that monster's sake, no less. All those thoughts were abruptly drowned out by the intense pain flaring up in my neck. The air grew heavy and stagnant as an indescribable kind of unease filled the room. What was that?
Damn
it. I could vaguely make out Sister Lisa across the dust shrouding the room. Right next to her stood Kane, having returned to being a speechless statue. The opening of this swastika had meant that many had died. That last attack, as well as the battle up to that point, must have passed the necessary death quota. We can't touch these guys. Though I was gritting my teeth in rage and bitterness, Sister Lisa ignored it all. There was a twinge of pain in her voice. Perhaps she too had been wounded.
心配しなくても私たちはもうあなたの前に現れないわ。これで仕事は終わり。
シスター
I screamed and stretched my hand out, but I couldn't reach her. My legs and hips, still suffering after the after effects of the lightning, wouldn't let me stand. I wanted her to stay, to not leave. I was begging her. She and Himuro were...
ごめんなさい。でも許してなんて言えないわね。願わくはあなたも生きて。
A jet black curtain blanketed my vision at that moment. The black cloth attached to Kane's mask spread out, covering the whole floor, drowning everything out.
Oh.
A moment later, my sight returned, revealing that Sister Lisa and Kane were nowhere to be found. In addition, all the splattered blood, chunks of meat, and mountain of corpses had vanished without a trace. It was just like that night. The way Rusalka erased the mutilated body without a trace the night I met her, Wilhelm and Sakurai. In other words.
食ったか。来る時も帰る時も派手だな。おい。
Say that again.
白。
You lived through that explosion?
でもまあとりあえずこの場は命拾ったね。正直しょっぱなからデタラメなの来すぎっつうか。どうなのさこれ。
Hanju, she survived as well. Of course they did.
で、立てるか、レン。見るからにひでえけど、死んじまうほどでもねえんだろ。
I couldn't stand right now, but my injuries weren't life-threatening. I didn't know how those two got away, but other than being covered in dust from head to toe, they didn't seem to be wounded. But then I remembered something.
白、お前な。
なんだよ。
涼しい顔して笑ってんじゃねえよ。お前がいきなり照明なんか消したおかげでこっちは危うく死にかけたぞ。
ああ、それやったの私。
ちなみに俺の発案な。
だからそういうことじゃなくてだな。
I was about to tell him that he should give me a heads up or show a bit more concern, but I stopped myself. Anything I told him would have gone on one ear or the other anyway.
ま、生きてたんだからいいじゃんよ。
ああ、おかげさまでな。
I leaned against the wall and somehow managed to stand up as anger welled within me. The crowds of people here just a while ago were all gone. Leaving no one but me and these guys. Some probably got away, but everyone who saw what happened had been wiped out. I couldn't help but feel a little bit bitter at that.
俺がここにいたからとかつまんないこと考えちゃダメよ。あちらさんはこの場所に用があったわけだから、私らやレン君がいようがいまいがこうなっちゃってたわけなのよ。
Exactly.
ま、後悔しても仕方ねえしな。
ほんとよく言うよね、あんたって。
Well, I mean, he's right. I mean, they're dead. You know, yeah, it sucks that they died, sure, but, you know, what's done is done. Sure, and Hanjo said that if they could tell what I've been feeling, they might have been right. But I couldn't at least just simply write off the whole thing.
とにかく、こういう時は悪者の退治に意識を向けるのが前向きな姿勢ってやつでしょ。そういうわけで、一つ問題。
Hanju pointed her finger and looked at me. I was hoping it was just my imagination, but it looked like I couldn't laugh this off.
これ、どうするよ。
It went without saying that she was pointing at Sakurai, still unconscious on the floor. Tie her up. That was indeed a problem. A big problem, in fact. I thought we could have been left with a rabid dog or something.
ぶっ殺せよ、レン。俺の仲間の仇だぜ。
Oh.
とバカは言ってるわけだけど。
Let's kill her. We're not gonna have a better opportunity.
真面目な話、連中がどうやら死ぬのかってことに興味がある。
You know what? I'm curious too.
おい。
I instinctively rebutted that turbulent statement, but I could see where Shiro was coming from. I had to keep fighting those monsters from now on. I had Marie as a means to do that, but these two had no way of beating them. However,
人体実験でもしようってのかよ。趣味悪いぞお前。
I didn't want to do or see the kind of stuff Rusalka got off to. Shiro let out an exasperated snicker as he saw my reaction.
まあな、お前はそう言うだろうな。傷んでるやつに甘いっつうか、フェアプレー精神の人だから。
あんたの頭も相当傷んでる領域だと思うけど。
お前、そりゃそのなんつうかどうなんだよ。
どんなもこんなもあるかよ。
These guys were idiots. They seriously went back to their normal selves right after the bloodshed ended. Anyway, trying to go along with them was a waste of time. I had to think about how to deal with this situation.
とりあえずここで桜井を確保できたのは運がいいとそう思う。
Call it naive, but killing someone wounded and defenseless was too low for me. And seeing how I couldn't bring myself to do that, I had only one option available. After all, there was still much we didn't know.
捕まえて捕虜にしよう。
Yeah.
こいつには聞きたいこともあるし。
へえ。
なんだよ。
What was up with those mocking looks they were giving me?
お前さ、こいつのおかげで命拾いしたから交換とか持っちゃってるわけ？
Isn't she gonna die now? Like, wasn't the point of the whole pact that she didn't do that and she did that, right? So she's gonna die.
そんなわけないだろ。むしろ苦手だ、こいつのことは。
それはまた微妙な評価を。
I really wish you'd just shut up and leave me alone.
誤解がないように言っとくけど、俺はこいつと仲良くなんかないからな。最初っからどうも馬が合わないんだよ、桜井とは。
Which was exactly why I couldn't deal with her. She didn't seem like the type I could get along with. I knew those words were illogical and not much of an explanation, but that was what I said. Shiro waved his hands up saying, Yeah, yeah, I get it.
まあ、お前が得意な相手なんてバカスミくらいしかいねえしな。オーケー、俺は別に構わんよ。シャレでからかっただけだ。そう怒んな。てなわけで、おいエリー。
ああ、はいはい。わかってるよ。
Andrew gave the sluggish reply before sitting next to Sakurai. Personality aside, she was still the daughter of doctors and probably had at least basic knowledge in first aid treatment.
悪いけど、任せる。
But the lights in the hall went out just as I said that, wrapping the place in darkness. After a beat, Shiro lit up the surroundings with the flame of his lighter.
なんだ？停電かよ。
さっきの戦闘で電気系統のどっかが行かれたのかも。
That I'm surprised that this place isn't more fucked up.
おい、大丈夫なのか？
まあ大丈夫だと思うけど、詳しいことは調べてみないとわかんないね。そんなことより、とりあえずこの子の治療する方が優先だと思うけど。
Treating the girl, she's fine. She's fine. She bullets like it's nothing. That's okay. She was right. There was no way to treat Sakurai properly in complete darkness.
じゃ、まずは場所を変えよっか。あんたたち、この子を運びな。
Shiro and I followed Hanju's orders and carried Sakurai to a VIP room.
これでいいかな。
Once we got permission, Shiro and I left the hallway we'd been waiting in and entered the VIP room. Hanju beckoned us over to the sofa where Sakurai was sleeping. I came forward, taking a closer look at her. She was wrapped up in bandages and covered by a blanket.
もう大丈夫なのか？
まあ、とりあえずはね。
なんか問題あんのかよ。
怪我はもう大丈夫だと思う。びっくりするほど早く塞がってるから。ただ出血がひどくて体が冷え切っちゃってる。
Alright, Shiro, you can go hug her.
なんとか温めてやんなきゃまずいんだけど。
なんとかならないのか？
つうか、お前が温めてやりゃいいんじゃねえの？
はあ？
Don't we have a blanket? This probably wasn't the time for jokes.
ああ、それいいね。レン君、一緒に寝て温めてあげてよ。もちろん。
あ、
The hell?
こういうのは言い出しっぺがやるもんだろ。こいつを捕虜にしようって言ったのはお前だし、それにこの女が目覚めて暴れたりした時に止められるのはお前だけだろうが。
私は電気系統の復旧もしないといけないし、レン君だってシローに任せるより自分でやった方が安心するんじゃないの？
They were definitely enjoying this. I was starting to feel a headache descend upon me.
本当なのか？
何が？
その血が足らないとか体温とかそういう話。
ええ、低体温症を起こしかけてる。このまま外気に体温吸われてたら。
Hanji didn't seem to be lying, but could Sakurai really just freeze to death like that? I don't know. I mean, that other guy got froze to absolute zero, man. He's still coming. He's still alive. But what do I know? I'm just a doctor. Even with all that stuff she found out, the physical limits of those bastards remained a complete mystery to us. Still, it would have been one more thing to bother me at nights if I overestimated Sakurai and accidentally let her die on my watch. Now that I decided to save her. I seriously regret the fact that I lacked the resolve to be able to just let her die without batting an eye. Jesus Christ. Fucking people, man. So soft my own good. That's what it was. That's my problem. I'm too soft, and that's a problem when I gotta mercilessly kill these guys. I should just beheaded her on the spot. No. I'm too good for that. These bastards wouldn't have hesitated to do the same to me. Why should I show any resolve to them? God damn it. I couldn't believe these guys were still playing games with people's lives were on the line.
じゃ決まりだ。なーに、安心しろって。俺らは邪魔にならねえようにどっか別んとこ行ってっからよ。
そうだね。それじゃあレン君、あとは任せたよ。ちゃんと裸になって温めてあげなきゃダメだよ。
The two of them poked fun at me to the point of anger as they left the room. But right before she shut the door, Hanji turned around as if she just remembered something important.
一応、相手は病人なんだから、あんまり激しく
Oh,
しちゃ
get
ダ
out
メ
of
だよ。
here. She could take her juvenile advice and shove it. I thought about yelling that, but Hanji had already shut the door.
くそ、マジでやるしかないのか。
Questioning the importance of getting thoroughly naked, I initially figured I'd only take my shirt off, but Sakurai herself was almost completely undressed. So that would have made no sense on my part. Damn, if she woke up in the middle of this, she'd kill me for sure. I wasn't really against fighting Sakurai, but I still felt hesitant. Why did this sort of thing happen here?
とにかく、お前目覚ますなよ。
I laid Sakurai on my knees and wrapped the blanket around us as I prayed for both of our sakes. As I did my best not to look at things I had no business looking at, I kept telling myself that there was no other solution to this messed up situation than waiting for morning to come. Or at least I endeavored to do that as best I could.
まったく、何の因果で。
Got that right. How do we get from that hellish bloodbath to this ridiculous situation? In fact, why didn't Sister Lisa take Sakurai with her to begin with? That's the real question. The reason I decided to help her was largely because the word Sister Lisa left me with before she vanished had really stuck with me. She asked me to take care of Leon, but did she kind of forget the part where we were trying to kill each other? It would have been much easier if she just told me to spare her or kill her. I was having a hard time turning down a request when she asked in that voice of hers. You know that voice. Maybe she was counting on my naive side. And while it was true that might have been a factor, maybe there was more to it than that. In other words, I didn't think she was being cunning or that she had darker intentions. To be frank, she probably trusted me, considering where we both stood. I doubted it was something to feel honored by, nor something I was meant to live up to, but damn, I'm such a pain in the ass.
だいたい根は悪い子じゃないとか言われてもな。
I looked down at Sakurai's face as I grumbled. Well, from this angle, I could definitely only see her as just another girl of Kasumi's age. Now, come to think of it, several people, herself included, told me that we were the same age, didn't they? The Longinus, Drazen, Orden, remnants of the Maltese. Whether or not that was true, and whether Rusalka really had lived 10 times longer than us or not, even if that was no more than an exaggeration, those bastards had to be over 80 years old at least. From our point of view, that'd make them old enough to be the same age as their great-grandparents, so why was it that they didn't mind having such a kid in the ranks? And a Japanese one at that. Interesting, huh? I knew that Japan or Germany were allies back in WW2, so maybe there was some sort of connection back then, but regardless, Sakurai still stuck out like a sore thumb among all of them. In fact, it didn't look like Wilhelm accepted her as a comrade at all. No, I feel like he had a real grudge against her, like he was embarrassed by the whole matter. So why did Sakurai enroll in an organization she clearly couldn't be comfortable working with? As simply viewed her as an obstacle that had to be taken out up until this point, but now that I thought about all that, she could be in some sort of sticky situation. That said, by no means was that a sign I could let my guard down around her or hold back. This seemed to be trickier than I had thought. Much like Hanju had said, Sakurai really was freezing. On top of that, she was just too delicate and fragile. Thanks to her current bewildering impression of vulnerability, the image I had up to her at this point, in other words, one of the stone-hearted bitch, was loudly crumbling apart. I found myself starting to honestly want to help her. Jeez. I couldn't blame Shiro and Hanju for making fun of me. I really was a naive dumbass being controlled by trivial emotions. I knew just how dangerous she was, but... Shit. Sakura let out a low groan. She shivered slightly and began muttering in delirium. She muttered meaningless, incoherent fragments at first, but it didn't take long for her to start saying things I could understand.